Welcome back to the Hampton Roadshow. Our live audience today is from the Children's Museum of Virginia, and Friday, a great exhibit for children of all ages is opening. It's Curious, George. Let's get curious. And here now to tell us what we can find is Pat Jensen, exhibit supervisor, and a wonderful team from the Children's Museum of Virginia. It's great to see everybody again. And, you know, this is going to be new to the Children's Museum of Virginia, but the concept has been around for decades. So tell me about who was involved in the first manuscript, the first idea for this.
Well, that was developed by H.A. Ray and his wife Marguerite. They were actually a Jewish couple living in Paris prior to World War II. They had developed several manuscripts, and literally hours before Hitler invaded Paris, they grabbed their manuscripts, their personal belongings, got on a bike, and headed out of town.
Wow.
And they made their way to Spain, Portugal, South America, and eventually New York, where they settled.
And people should recognize those names right away if they've ever flipped through a Curious George book.
Definitely, definitely.
So tell me about the exhibit and how you're going to kind of bring those stories and those ideas to life.
Well, it is a traveling exhibit from the Minnesota Children's Museum, and it covers about 1,500 square feet. And we have the man in the yellow hat, who's George's best friend.
Yeah.
You get to play mini golf. You get to build whirligigs and see how the wind affects different structures. There's construction area. So there's a lot of science mixed in with the playtime.
That must be, you know, perfect for kids who have that natural curiosity, like George, and in other areas of their life are discouraged from touching this, putting on a science experiment in the kitchen. You know, this is a place where they can come and let their curiosity go and let their hands follow it.
Exactly. They can touch everything in there. Nothing's off limits for them. There's a lot of shadow play and dealing with light, how you can blend light into different colors. And so I think it's going to be fascinating for children of all ages. Anybody who has fond memories of Curious George is going to love this exhibit.
Yeah, and that should be just about everybody. You mentioned the man in the yellow hat will be around, but of course folks are going to wonder, will Curious George be making appearances?
Curious George might show up from time to time. He has a very busy schedule, you know.
Of course.
But he will be there, and we also have a statue of Curious George. It's going to be a wonderful photo op for parents and grandparents.
That's great.
To be able to sit their children beside Curious George and give him a big hug.
And now this is again in the Changing Exhibits Gallery. So this is, you know, in addition to all the wonderful exhibits that are already there at the Children's Museum of Virginia, if folks are maybe vacationing in the area or have not made their way into the museum yet since the huge renovation and big grand opening, what are they missing if they don't come in?
Oh my goodness, there's almost too much to talk about. We added 12,000 square feet to the overall museum. The first floor is really for role-playing in the younger children. As I mentioned, we have a fire engine, a motorcycle, grocery store, and a famous bubble room. The children love to go and blow huge bubbles.
Yeah.
Our planetarium has reopened with some wonderful planetarium shows. We have a tugboat. You can go fishing from the tugboat. Second floor is just a little bit more elevated in what you learn.
Yeah.
We have a science area called Dr. Force's Traveling Extravaganza.
Yeah. I know I led you into this question, but you were right. Way more to talk about than we have time. Just suffice it to say, you'll want to go check it out again. The special exhibit opens on July 7th.
That's Saturday.
That's Saturday. Okay. So Saturday, get there. It'll be there through September 23rd on High Street in Portsmouth, Virginia. Visit childrensmuseumva.com. Thanks, Pat.